Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be analyzing a game between two bots. And so you might think that uh, Stockfish might be maybe one of the only bots, maybe the best bot, but there's actually more than just Stockfish. So today we're going to be we're going to be analyzing a game between two bots on chess.com. It's going to be Dragon versus, man, I don't know how to pronounce this, Ethereal. Yeah. So this is pretty interesting. You know, they're both rated 3,000 or something. So chess bots, and it's a pretty explosive game. And I think even though they're just on a entirely different level, they could teach you a lot of things. So yeah, let's just start. Alright, so as you can see here, Dragon is white, and I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's black. Ethereal. I don't know. So yeah, it's just starting with e4, e5, basic openings. Try to control the center, and notice that so the knight and the queen, they're switched. The knight on the G file and the queen on the D file, they're both switched. Basically, it's just kind of messed up, right? Their pieces are pretty messed up. The only things that are in the normal positions are the pawns, the two rooks, and the king. The other ones, if they're in the normal position, that's just by sheer luck. So e4, e5, c3. So notice that we're not trying to analyze basic in regular games. We're trying to analyze how to make decisions, how to plan ahead. Here, you're not starting off in the same position as your opponent. And in the middle of a chess game, you're not going to have the same position as your chess opponent. So it's going to be it's useful to play like this and to learn from these kind of games, because you kind of get a sense of how to play in different positions, and it will help you with your thinking ahead skills. So pawn takes, and then f4, attack on the pawn, and I think chess.com has Stockfish. Yeah, Stockfish. So it's roughly equal. White is kind of winning. This happens. Pawn goes here. Bishop moves back. Pawn moves up to attack the knight. Takes, and notice that the queen on g1 is now in danger. Knight just blocks. Bishop comes up again. Queen goes here. And it's just that kind of discover an attack on the rook. And that's kind of bad, right? Hold on, I don't know why black just left his knight on e6 hanging. I guess there's other good moves. Takes, knight goes back, pawn to f6, and then white kind of starts on his queenside push. Notice that he doesn't have a lot of pawns, and black is up by 1 point, but he has a disadvantage. If you can see from Stockfish analyzing, white has a slight advantage. Queen moves over, bishop moves over, kind of pinning that pawn on e6 to queen on f7 castle. And honestly, that to me that doesn't look safe, but who am I to judge against a bot, you know? But like here, the pawn on e6 is being pinned to the queen on f7. Now, now pawn moves away, the queen will be pinned to the king, so it's a kind of a double pin. And queen moves up, king moves over just to, you know, make sure nothing happens to his king castle. And also attack that f6 pawn, his rook, white's rook. Kind of add some more pressure to black's castle. Notice that before it, a few moves back, it seems like white was getting pressured a lot because black was ahead in development, and there was just all of this attacking. But afterwards, white kind of was relieved of the pressure. So back to castle. Knight moves over to e5, and bishop moves up. I don't see why white did that. It's just, I guess, protect that pawn on a4, just kind of tighten up his forces, make sure nothing bad happens to them. Just, you know, doing some preparation before white makes an attack. Bishop moves up, knight moves here, queen moves back, and I guess it's to add a bit more pressure on a4, and h3, b6, kind of starts black with a queenside push. Perhaps black will move to pawn a5 or pawn c5, just to attack white's queenside, and also to get a passed pawn. Because let's say pawn goes to c5, b takes c5, b takes c5, black will have an extra passed pawn on the c file. It's kind of bad. So bishop moves over. Alright, so black, he goes with a5. White, is just like, okay, you want to attack my pawn? Well, I'm avoiding that. So he moves up. Black still tries to force a trade. Takes. Knight moves up. Bishop moves back. Because that pawn on e6 is in danger by bishop on b3 and knight on d4. So that would be pretty bad to lose a pawn. And a pawn is actually worth quite a lot when you're rated 3000 and you're a bot. It could tip the scales. This. Rook takes advantage of the c file. Black's rook takes advantage of the c file. Knight kind of moves up to block the rook's passage on the c file, and kind of challenge that knight on e5. So knight takes, bishop will take back, and that kind of loses a pawn. But I think it should be okay. It's actually, I don't know, because now black, he has 2 passed pawns, which will be pretty bad for white. Because like it's gonna be really hard to stop those passed pawns. So I mean, you could take a pawn back. Bishop goes here. Bishop comes back. Don't want to trade. Queen moves over. Knight moves here. Attacking the queen, and also adding an attack on b6, because now the bishop on e3 is looking at b6, about to capture. Queen moves over here. So I guess, so here, this is what's going to happen. Queen moves all the way here. Kind of doesn't really matter about that b6 pawn, I guess, because now there's a bit more pressure on the king. Black has his queen and a rook on c8 looking at c1 is going to be pretty bad. All black needs to do is put some more pressure on c1, and then white will just kind of be in a bad position. So white moves over here. Pawn moves up. Just try to promote the pawn, which will be pretty annoying. So knight goes here, and well, according to Stockfish, look at that bar on the right, on the left. So white has a pretty okay advantage, slight advantage, but after he takes his pawn, it kind of evens back out to almost exactly equal advantage. And so yeah, I guess this was just to open up the king, so that white could more easily attack the king. King takes back, of course. Pawn moves up. Queen moves over, and check, and then takes. Bishop goes there. So okay, yeah, I see. So even though the bishop is kind of free, yeah, it's attacking the queen, but the bishop itself on d4 is not very well protected. And it also kind of attacks f6, the rook on f6, pinning it to the king. So black's only option is to take back. Now, this happens, and okay, for some reason, white's advantage, did it drop? I don't know what happened. Alright, so yeah, so the white queen checks the king, and it also attacks the bishop on d7, the black bishop on d7, and it also kind of attacks the rook on f6. All white needs to do is add one more attacker on f6, and I think he got that rook. So black moves over, and instead of taking that bishop on d7, he kind of checks some more, and that's just to, I guess, try to get that rook on f6, because you see, a rook is worth more than a bishop, so if you could try to get the rook, try to go for it, because in the end you'll get more reward than just 3 points. So king moves back, that's one of his only options. He could move up to g5. The king could go to g5, but that's kind of not that great for him, for black, because after a few moves, maybe h4 check, or something. Nah, but yeah, I guess black just wants to stay within his territory. Doesn't want to march into the center. That's just kind of bad. So that checks with his queen. White checks with the queen. Discovery check. Now king is forced to move back, because notice that before here the king was able to go to g6 because there was no bishop looking at g6. Now there's a bishop looking at g6 when it's on h5. The king cannot protect the rook on f6 anymore, so the rook is technically free. And so that's just kind of bad for black right now. Yes, black, he is up by 1 point, but I don't think it's gonna buy him anything, because white, he has the attacking advantage. Material is roughly equal. Black has 2 passed pawns, which is kind of bad for white. White has the attacking hand. So queen moves over. Number 1, trying to trade off the queens, and number 2, attacking that bishop on h5. So rook moves over, blocking the threat on the queen, and attacking d7. So queen will take on h5, and the rook takes on d7, so it's an equal trade with bishops, and it's going to be pretty bad for black because queen to g7 would just be checkmate, and I don't think black would want that, so queen moves over to defend that. Now check, and notice that white's advantage is going a lot up. It's pretty high, even though he's down a pawn. So king moves over, check again, king moves over again, rook goes here, attack the queen, and try to develop another attack, perhaps moving the queen somewhere to, or even attacking that pawn on b6. That could just be another smaller attack. Queen goes here, and the white queen goes to d4. Black queen goes to c7. Check. And I know it kind of looks like we're near the end, but we're not. So a pawn e4, and black's pawn goes to a3, threatening promotion. You see, if white allows the black pawn to promote, it's going to be pretty bad for white since he's going to be down by a whole queen after that. So g3, queen takes the rook. So I guess this is because black probably sees that promotion is probably very close. So the bot is probably calculating this all out, probably thinking, okay, my pawn on the a file could probably reach it in time to a1 to promote. And so you might want to take the rook, because then white queen takes the black queen back, and if the a pawn goes down, promotes the queen, and white will be down a whole rook. But what I think black should have done, I'm not a bot, alright, but I think black should have gone to a2 first. Actually, never mind, because then, I don't know actually. So yeah, queen takes the rook, queen takes back, rook checks, king moves up, and this threatens promotion pretty close. But notice that Stockfish, he's kind of saying that dragon, white, that bot is winning. I'm not sure how Stockfish is actually trying to calculate this, because Stockfish itself is a bot, so I don't know. Check, king moves over, check, and afterwards it's just a lot of checking. Try to prevent that pawn on the a file from promoting. King goes back, check, take the pawn back, and they're equal in material. No, they're not actually. White has 4 points up. So notice that this was a fork, but you might be wondering, okay, white should take the rook on c2, right? Well, that's actually wrong, and you should never argue against a bot, because they always know what's best. Queen actually has to go at a7. Why? If you take the rook on c2, then black just promote his pawn from a2 to a1, promoted to a queen, and it's going to be roughly equal game again. So that's going to be kind of bad for white, because he has the advantage right now, a pretty big advantage. And queen moves over, and they kind of both pawns are just trying to go for a promotion. So they try to run for the promotion, and it turns into a rook. Now, I don't know why this happened. I don't know why black decided, okay, let's turn it into a rook. How come not, try to do something else? I guess it's because it's to kind of distract white from promoting that pawn on h8. So it drags the queen on a7 down to a1. Now rook goes back to defend, but it's really not much of a defense because queen and white pretty much wins from here. King d5, and it's pretty much game. And that's about it. And you could probably guess that white won from here. So I guess that'll be about it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it and learned a lot from looking at these two chess bots, battle each other. And if you guys did, leave a like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to see more chess videos.